Okay, wait, we are live and get set up. And I've made you host back again. Can you make me a co-host?
Yes, I certainly can. There you go.
Thank you.
There's going to be a small class today. Only 5 people signed up, so it could be a pretty light load.
Yeah.
Hey, morning, Marcy.
Morning.
How are you today?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for joining us early in the morning.
Yes. Thank you too.
Where are you calling in from, Marcy?
Boston.
Boston. Okay, so you're in Eastern time zone as well, so
Yes.
not too early, but still pretty early.
Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm from North Carolina.
Oh, so you're calling from North Carolina too?
Yeah, I'm down in a town called Southport. It's close to Wilmington.
Oh, that's good. That's very good.
Yeah.
The weather is warming up.
It is. It's been very nice. It's been cool, but up in the upper 70s, which is perfect for me.
Oh, today's like 60, maybe 63.
Yeah, you're running a little cooler than we
Yeah,
are.
it's still cool. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
like it that way instead of up in the upper 90s.
Yes. Yes.
Hi, Taurus. How are you this morning?
You probably tell her to unmute.
Yes, she's still sitting down. You're muted, Vitoris.
Yeah. Sometimes that
Should be
happens.
down in the bottom left there where it says mute, unmute. There you go. Go ahead and say hi, Vitoris. I think you're unmuted now. Can you hear me?
She probably not hearing you.
That doesn't sound like she's hearing me.
No.
Hey, Victor, you want to reach out to the chat and see if you can help her get.
Yeah, where I've already messaged her.
Okay, thanks. We got 4 other people signed up, so we're gonna hang out here just another minute or two.
Okay.
Doris,
Sure.
can you hear me? If you can, go ahead and say hi if you can hear me. You're unmuted.
Okay. Thank you.
There you go. All right, good, good. All right, I can hear you. You can hear me. We're good.
Yes.
All right. I was afraid you weren't hearing me. So we say we're gonna wait a couple of minutes before we actually start the class because we do have some other people signed up, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started with some of the housekeeping here and getting things ready while we're waiting. So
Okay.
you go ahead and share my screen. So you should be able to see my slides over here and my iPhone over here.
Right. Mhm.
Pictures are in the way. Let me know. And let's see, I'm gonna pull the participants down over here. I'm gonna just leave the mics open because it's gonna be a small class. But
Okay.
if there's any background noise or echoes or anything like that, I will mute during the class. So just remember to check and see if you're muted before you ask a question or make a comment.
Okay.
Do you both already have a Twitter account?
No.
No? How about you,
No,
Marcy? Okay, neither
I
one.
don't.
This is one of those trying to figure out what it is and see if you want to get on or not. Huh?
Right.
Right.
That's pretty much what the class is designed for, is people that are curious and checking it out, or people maybe that have an account but have never done anything with it. So we're in the right place. We're going to start with setting one up from scratch.
Okay.
Okay.
And if you want to do that while we're in class, or you can just watch the class and then decide if you want to download, whichever you'd rather do. Some people want to take the class first and then decide if they want to bother.
Oh, okay.
But if you wanted to download and be ready for the class, you could just go ahead and go to the App Store and download Twitter.
Oh,
Well, I'll see first.
Okay. Yep. I understand. All right. I tell you, I usually wait, take the first 4 to 5 minutes of the class to get everything set up and give people a chance to get logged in. And we are at that point. So I'm going to go ahead and start the class. We'll probably have a couple of 3 people join us midstream here, but let's go ahead and get started. So this is Twitter, and this is the introduction class for Twitter, what it is and how it works for people like you that are new to Twitter. So I want to welcome to the class. I hope you enjoy it. My name is Wade Yarber, and I'll be your guide today. Briefly about me, I'm from a small town in West Tennessee called Mason. It's close to Memphis. I have my PhD in experimental psychology. I got my degree at West Virginia University and have taught psychology off and on during my career, but spent most of my career designing, installing, and training users on hospital information systems. So training doctors and nurses. So I've done a lot of adult training, but what I love about teaching at Get Set Up is that I get to teach people like you that are taking the class because you're interested in the class, not because your employer made you take the class. And that is what we try to do at Get Set Up, is to create an environment where you can take classes you're interested in along with other people that are interested in the same topic. You can interact with each other as well as interacting with the guide. So hopefully we're creating an environment that is comfortable and where it's easy to communicate. That is one of the reasons we do ask people to turn your cameras on if you're willing to do that, but it's certainly not required. The session is being recorded, and any participant can request a copy of that recording. To do that, just send an email to help@getsetup.io and Victor has put that in the chat already. So Victor's here from our TA's group here at Get Set Up. He's going to be helping me manage the chat and help with the class. So thank you for joining us, Victor. Appreciate your help. We're also live streaming the class. So we do want to welcome anyone that has joined us via live stream. Thanks for joining. Hope you enjoy the class as well. But I do want to let you know that, of course, the only way to get that full Get Set Up experience where you can interact with the other learners and ask questions of the guide is to go to our website and register for the class. And finally, Get Set Up is not paid to promote any of the products that we train on. We are purely trainers. So take a look at the agenda for today. We're going to start with talking about what Twitter is, why it is popular, why you might want to use it in addition to other social media sites, probably not instead of, but how to control what you see on your timeline is probably one of the biggest issues, being able to see things you're interested in, how to interact with tweets on your timeline, and finally, we'll talk about how to post tweets. So let's get started. So what is Twitter? Twitter is a social networking website that's designed for finding and sharing short updates. All the different social networking websites have something that they're kind of famous for. It's their main trademark, if you will. And Twitter, it's short updates, short everything. Brevity is the watchword for Twitter. Each post is limited to 280 characters, and that includes letters, spaces, and punctuation marks. So to give you an idea of how much 280 characters is, these first two sentences have 319 characters. So I couldn't put these two sentences in one tweet. So when they say brevity, they mean brevity. So why should I use Twitter? Twitter is much more than knowing what your friends had for lunch. I remember when Twitter first came out, and that's what it was for the most part. People were tweeting what they're doing all through the day, and most people didn't really want to know that much about what their friends were doing. It has really evolved over time, and it's in fact come to be more of a news source in a lot of ways than a social site. And it really is typically identified as the best way to get information about what is happening right now. So if there's some big event going on, there's been an earthquake or a hurricane or even a sporting event, if you're watching the Super Bowl, or if you want to get information about what's happening right now, Twitter is usually the best way to get that information. You can contact any person or any organization in the world that has a Twitter account, so you're not restricted to certain people or certain, it's not like Facebook where you have to be friends. You can contact anyone. They may not respond, but you can contact any person that has a Twitter account. And you don't have to tweet to use Twitter. Tweeting is posting in Twitter world. So a lot of people, and I'm in fact one of those, I very seldom tweet, but I check Twitter frequently to understand, figure out what's happening now. And we'll talk about all of that a little more as we go along. So let's talk about how you would get started. And if you don't have an account, I don't think either one of you said you have an account. It's very easy to sign up. Now, Twitter does run on the desktop, but it's really designed to work on a smartphone. That's how most people use it, and that's how we're going to be training it today. I will show you briefly how it looks on as a browser site, but it really is designed to be on a smartphone. So that's where we're going to be working today, and I'm going to shrink this down and slide my phone over a little bit closer to the center. So all you have to do is go to the App Store for whatever type of smartphone you've got, iPhone or Android, and find and download Twitter. And then you just go in and sign up. And sign up is very simple. There's much less information required to set up a Twitter account than it is a Facebook account. Twitter will assign you a username, and that's sometimes also called a Twitter handle. And that username is how you're known on Twitter. Each person has a unique username or handle. You can change that name. So Twitter's going to give you one, but you don't have to stick with the one they give you. You can change it. But if you want to change it, there are a couple of requirements. It has to be unique on Twitter. So if my name was Bob Smith and I tried to use the handle Bob Smith, it's not going to be there. So you'd have to come up with some other variation on your name. And it doesn't have to be your name either. It just has to be unique. So if you're known as the Cookie Chef, you could have, and no one else is using the handle of Cookie Chef, you could have a Twitter handle of Cookie Chef. It doesn't matter. It's just got to be unique. And it has to be fewer than 15 characters. And that does include special characters. Then you also have to provide a unique phone number or an email to sign up. That's so they can verify your identity. So they will send you a text if you use your phone, and you have to enter that number to verify that you have that phone. Same thing with email. They'll send you an email, and you have to copy the code out of the email and put it into the registration site to prove that you are the person that owns that email. And that's pretty much it. So again, it's a pretty quick and simple install. I already have an account, so I can't walk you through the steps, but what I can do is go in and show you those different fields we were just talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and open Twitter, and let me go ahead and say, especially with a small group like this, I'm kind of going through the material, but please, if I go over something too quickly and you have questions about it, just unmute and ask your question or say, hey, I didn't get that. Can you go over that again? Be happy to answer any questions or to go over something again. So let's go ahead and open Twitter, and it's right here. And I click the home. Home is down here in the bottom left. And what we want to do though is go into the profile. And to get to your profile, it's up here in the upper left, this triple bar. So we click that. And then here's my profile. So let me go over the portions of the profile. And again, these are the things you enter when you're setting up your account. I didn't mention this one in the setup, but you have two different types of name. You have a display name, and my display name is Wade Yarbrough. Your display name can be anything. It doesn't have to be unique. If you're Bob Smith, you can have Bob Smith as your display name, even though there may be 1,200 other people that have that same display name. But that's how people recognize you, how people refer to you. And that's what you should use there, something that people will recognize. This is your username or handle. It starts with an @sign. This is the one that has to be unique. Luckily, I have a fairly unique name to begin with, even though Wade Yarbrough was taken, but Wade _ Yarbrough wasn't. So, and again, Twitter will recommend a name for you. Actually, typically recommend several. So to give you some ideas of what is available, but if you want to just keep trying names until you find one that's unique, you can do that as well. Okay, I'm going to, and then you can see the rest of the profile. Now, a profile and Twitter is, do you both use Facebook? Or, okay, Marcy, you use Facebook? Yeah. If you do, because I'm going to draw some parallels between Facebook and Twitter because there are some similarities. And so you have a profile.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Thanks, Marcy.
You're welcome.
So you have a profile in Twitter just like you do in Facebook. And so anyone can come to my page and see my profile. And we're going to go over other parts of this in a minute as well. But I'm going to click on Edit Profile to go into there to show you. Yes.
Mine says set up profile. What do I have to do? I don't have edit profile. It's just set up.
Okay. So it sounds like you haven't got everything put in there. So click Setup, Nancy, and that should let you go in and see probably the same screen where I am now. See if that works.
And I hit, it said pick a profile picture.
Okay. Yep. So you're here. It looks like, so you can put in a picture. You don't have to put a picture in, but this is where you can, I'm in edit. So I would change one. If you're in setup, then you would enter one. You can do it later if you don't have a picture right now.
Okay. So then I hit, then it says pick a header. What's a header?
I don't know. Are you on an Android?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, maybe slightly different, but it's probably, it may be talking about what's called the bio here. And again, most of those aren't required fields, but the main fields in the profile are your display name. And then the bio is just a short description of yourself, who you are, what you are. You've only got 160 characters, so it is very short.
And then it says your profile is updated.
Okay,
Then you-
there you go.
Then you hit see profile.
Now you can, yep, you can hit see profile, and then there should be an edit button there, but you don't need to, that's just how you get in if you want to change
Again,
any
it
of this.
says set up profile.
Okay, so it must use setup instead of edit. Same thing, as long as you can make these changes.
I
Location.
don't see those. I don't see biolocation website.
Okay. It must be different on the Android. Nancy, I don't think I can figure. So when we get into the main part, I think it's going to be the same. And these are all optional anyway. You don't have to put in a location or a website or a birth date. These are just some optional things you can put in. The only thing you've got to have is that username. And then if I edited anything here, I could say save. I'm just going to cancel. So Nancy, do you have anything right here in yours underneath your name?
No,
Okay.
just said join when I joined.
Okay. All right. So, oh, and again, this isn't critical, so not quite sure what's going on there. We can maybe at the end of class, if we have some time, we can take a look at that again, but let's keep going through how you use it, which is probably more important. Decide if you even want to use it or not. So let's talk about how you get information out of Twitter, which is what most people are wanting to do anyway. So I'm going to touch the home again. And this takes me to what's the same thing as your news feed in Facebook. And if you touch the little bird at the top, it'll take you to the top of your feed. It's called a timeline in Twitter. I'm going to probably keep calling it a feed because I'm used to Facebook. So feed and timeline are the same thing in Twitter. And so these are then all the tweets that I have that I can look through, just like looking through your news feed in Facebook. There's several ways something can end up on your timeline in Twitter. Obviously, accounts you follow is probably the biggest source of information there. But Twitter will also suggest tweets sometime. So, and that's typically based on your activity. We're going to talk more about that. But Twitter's like all the other sites, but maybe even more so, just because of the volume of tweets out there. It's not going to show you every single tweet from every account that you follow, because that would be too much information. So it tries to figure out what you want to see. And we'll talk about how you tell Twitter what you want to see. And then it'll show you that information. And so if somebody that you don't follow posts something, maybe let's say, for example, I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan and I follow the Pittsburgh Steelers. I like every tweet I see about the Pittsburgh Steelers. If somebody that I don't follow posts something about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that ends up being a very popular tweet, it's gotten 2,000 likes, it's a good chance that Twitter will put that on my feed because it says Wade likes the Steelers. This is a very popular tweet about the Steelers. He probably wants to see this. Everybody kind of understand how that works. Okay.
Yeah.
You'll see promoted tweets. Those are advertisements. And just like Facebook, they're going to be on there, so you can't do much about them. Retweets are a tweet that somebody, when somebody else posts a tweet and then you retweet it, it's like sharing on Facebook. Let's see if I could find one here right quick. I don't want them. There's hundreds of them. And now I don't see one. We'll talk about retweeting later. We'll probably stumble across a couple. But that's the other way. So somebody, and it's again, it's like sharing. If somebody you follow retweets something from an account you don't follow, then it could end up on your feed. And the last way is tweets based on topics you've selected. And when you're first starting out and you haven't followed a lot of people, you don't have much activity, topics are a good way to kind of get started. Once you're up and going, you may want to take out the topics because sometimes you get too much stuff from topics. Let me show you things that come from a topic. Have this little icon right here. And it can either be a topic you follow. In this case, they're suggesting I might want to follow Elon Musk. So it's saying, do I want to follow this topic? There are some topics that I follow, and they're putting information on my feed. So here's that same icon. So that means it's because of a topic that I follow. So let me show you how to get to topics. When you set up your account, it's going to ask you about topics. You can skip it at that point and come back and do it later. So if you did skip it, we're going to go back into this triple bar and go to topics. It has that same little icon right there.
I don't have the triple bar either.
Do you have something at the upper left corner up there?
I have home and I have, like a picture thing, make believe, but it isn't my picture.
Yeah.
But I don't see what you're saying there.
Yeah, it's unfortunately it's different on the, does anybody else have an Android?
I really want to know how to do it.
Yeah, I think it's up in this upper left. There's nothing up here in the same place.
No.
Yeah.
Where was it 3 lines?
Give me 1 second and let me check something real quick and see if I can find it, because it is something we're going to go into there a lot.
I don't even have the bird.
I think it says try tapping your picture or your little icon.
Yeah. So it says profile list topics.
Yep, there you go. So that's it. So it's the same thing as the triple bar that you're seeing here. It will
what
get you
should
to
I
the same
hit?
place. So you're here.
Yeah.
Yep. And so we're going to topics.
Topics. Okay.
And so topics, and you can see here's the ones that I'm currently following. I'll show you how to follow them in just a second, but these are the ones that I'm following. And so things about technology, Twitter will put on my timeline occasionally. And again, if they do, I'll see that little icon there. If I don't want to follow one of these anymore, I can just click on the following, like right there, and unfollow it. That's how you get rid of a topic. The way you add a topic is just to come down and you'll probably see suggested topics. And so Twitter's going to suggest things it thinks you might want to see. And these get better as you start using it, because once you have some activity, Twitter has a better idea of what you like. But best thing to do when you're first starting is probably just to click this more topics. That shows you everything. And I mean everything. So there's lots and lots of topics here. So first they're by category. So gaming, arts and culture, entertainment, science. So if you're interested in physics or space or biology, you can pick those topics.
So you hit the plus sign?
Yeah, you touch the plus sign to add. So let's say I want to add, I've already got tech news. Let me find something under technology, virtual reality. If I'm interested in virtual reality and I want to add that topic so that Twitter will tell me about virtual reality, just click the plus sign and I'm now following virtual reality as well. So you can go through and check the ones you want. Okay. Questions about that? And again, you can scroll through. There's a lot. There's all sorts of different music you can follow. Food, cooking, outdoor, nature, pets, dogs, national parks. So just take some time and scroll through there. There's dozens, if not hundreds of topics. And again, if you decide you don't want one of those, just come back up here and touch the following and it'll take that out. Questions about topics? I'm going to go back to the timeline again. And so there's two different views. This is a little confusing if you're new, but And it is all based around that whole concept of what's called the Twitter algorithm. The Twitter algorithm is the artificial intelligence engine that tries to decide what you like to see. The home view, which is the default one, is the one that the algorithm uses, and it shows me things that it thinks I'm going to want to see prioritized first. So if I'm looking at these tweets, here's something from 22 minutes ago. Here's something from 22 hours ago.
What are you
That-
looking under? Wade, what are you looking under?
I'm just in the timeline. I'm just scrolling through the list of things here. Right here is where it tells you how old that is. So I can see this was posted 17 hours ago. This was posted a day ago. And the point I'm making here is they're just kind of jumping around in time. It's not going chronologically. It's sorted them based on what it thinks I'm going to enjoy the most. It puts on top. Then it goes to the next one, then to the next one. This is an advertisement. I don't follow Oscar Mayer, so I mentioned you'll see advertisements in there.
So how do you take it out? You can't?
You can't. You're stuck with it. It's like watching television. You can't make the advertisements go away. So that's the home view. It's sorted by the things that Twitter thinks I'm going to want to see show up first. Now you can switch views, and hopefully this is the same on the Android, but in the iPhone, it's got a stars.
Yeah.
Okay, so click the stars and you'll look at my screen first. So it says your timeline is set to home, which is the default. That's where you normally are. You can switch to the latest tweets, and I'm going to do that.
Mine
Now-
says home shows your top tweets first.
Okay, then yes, that's the one that that's when I was talking about the ones that Twitter thinks you're going to see first. That's what it means. So now I've switched it to the latest tweets, and so these are now in chronological order. So this was 24 minutes ago, and it's going to come down to 1 hour ago, and then it's going to. So you're not seeing it jumping around in time. Here's 9 hours ago. So it's going through chronologically, most recent first and going older and older in time. That's the difference between the latest tweets and the home view. Home is sorted by things I want to see the most. And then latest, it's still only giving me things the algorithm thinks I want to see, but it's showing them to me in chronological series. Let me give you some examples here. So let's say there is something going on. I live near the coast. And so when there's a hurricane out there, I want to know the latest tweets about that hurricane. I would set my feed to be latest tweets. That way I know the latest update about the hurricane is the top of my feed. If I'm over here in the home view, it may not be at the top of the feed. So if there's something going on, you want to stay on top of it minute by minute. For the sports people, if the Super Bowl's going on and you can't be at a television watching it, you can put it to latest tweets, and the latest breaking news about the Super Bowl will show up in your tweet chronologically. So that's kind of the way I use the latest tweet versus home view. 90% of the time I use the home view. And again, just click the star to flip back and forth. So now it's telling me your timeline shows latest tweets, and I would click here to switch back to home. Home shows recommended for you. So I click that and I'm back to home. And you'll see it lots of times it'll tell you new tweets. That means there's some tweets you haven't seen. Just touch that and it'll take you to the top of your feed again. Okay. Questions about the timeline views? I'm going to show you something on my screen. Look at my screen because sometimes it's hard to find, and it's right here in front of me this time. We're going to talk about this in a minute because the next thing we're going to talk about is finding people to follow. And Twitter is like Facebook. Facebook is always telling you people you may want to be friends with.
How did you get there? How did you get who to follow?
You can't, it just shows up on your timeline. So you can't get there. That's why I said I'm going to show you this now since I can see it. If you just keep scrolling down through your timeline, you'll eventually see it. And again, if you use Facebook, if you're scrolling through your news feed on Facebook, at some point it'll have a little section where it says people you may want to friend. it's the same thing. So this will just pop up occasionally in your feed. But when you see it there, it does tell you accounts that you may want to follow based on your activity. So for instance, it says I may want to follow IQ Air because I follow the wellness guy and the wellness guy follows IQ Air. If I want to follow this account, I can just click right there. And now I'm following IQ Air, whatever that is. And so it'll show me several of those. There's 3 of them here. Then it goes back to my timeline.
I don't see where the follow is.
On mine,
I don't see that.
yeah, well, you probably aren't at this who to follow section. And again, it's not always in the same place. So you may have to just keep scrolling through like this until you finally find it.
On the home page?
On the home page in your news feed, yes, but it's not always at the same place. It's just down in your feed somewhere.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so as you're going through, you'll see this. I wanted to point it out now. So when you see this who to follow, you'll know what it is. But okay. And that we're going to talk about that a little later. Oh, it's right here. But next time I come into here, I might not be able to find it because it's going to be all the way down my feed again. That's one thing about Twitter, even with that algorithm, because there's already new feeds up here. So things disappear quickly. So if you're just starting out, the best way to find relevant people and accounts to follow is probably to start with accounts you already follow, blogs and websites that you already follow. You go to their website, you look at their information from their website, you listen to their information. And you can do that from your browser. So I'm going to go to the Wall Street Journal. Let's say I follow them. I go to their website all the time. I'm looking at their website. So I want to get their information on Twitter. So I'm at thewallstreetjournal.com. I'm just on their website. So if you're doing this from your browser, so I've now moved to my browser from my phone. Most any commercial website is going to have a way to connect to social media. Sometimes it's at the very top. Most of the time it's at the very bottom. So if you don't see it at the top, scroll all the way down to the bottom of their feed. Here's their social media. So if I want to follow them on Facebook, I could click there. Hi. Uh-oh. Hey. Hey dear. She's cute. But I want to follow them on Twitter. So I'm going to click the little Twitter bird and it's going to open another tab in my browser. Oh, no, it uses the same tab, but it's now taking me to my Twitter account. See, I'm now at twitter.com. So it's opened my Twitter account in a browser, but it's taken me to the Wall Street Journal. So now I could click follow and I'm now following the Wall Street Journal on Twitter. Then I could do the same thing if I follow Blue Cross Blue Shield or whatever organization you want to follow. Questions? That makes sense. And this is what Twitter looks like from a browser instead of from a smartphone. So I could click home here, go back and see the same things that I was seeing. Oh, we mentioned retweeting before. There's a retweet. Now you can see it. So for India, posted this, get set up, retweeted it. I follow, get set up. That's why it's in my news feed. So that's what a retweet is. So that's one way to get information you want to see on Twitter. Follow people and accounts you already like. Now, if I'm not on my computer and I want to do the same thing, I can use the search from my phone. So let's say I like James Taylor and I want to follow James Taylor, the artist, not my neighbor. So I can click on the search down here. In fact, let's do Wall Street Journal again, just to show you how it would work from here. So I'm going to come up here into the search box. And I'm going to type Wall Street Journal up here. And it'll start finding stuff. So it's already found it. I don't have to type the whole thing. Here's Wall Street Journal. I can touch that. It takes me to a screen that looks just like what I saw on my browser, and I can follow them from here. So you can search for it. If you're on your computer and you're already on a website of somebody you like, then you can just go ahead and do it from your website. It's faster than picking up your phone, typing in the name, doing it over here. Either way works. Who to follow, we already found that precipitously. So that's the other way to find people. And then the search icon I just showed you as well. Let me show you another one of those just to make sure you see. So let's say I do like the singer, James Taylor, and I want to follow him because I like his music. I can just start typing James Taylor. And again, it's going to start showing you recommendations, and it's going to show you famous people first. If my neighbor is named James Taylor, I probably would never find him by searching, but it finds this one, and I can tell from the picture that's James Taylor, the singer. So I could come over here and click follow, and now I'm following James Taylor. Questions?
What does the bell in the envelope mean?
The bell down here?
Up here, up next to following.
That's it. I'll click that. It turns on notifications. So whenever James Taylor tweets something, I'll get a ding letting me know that somebody I'm following has just posted something, tweeted something. I don't usually turn those on because I don't like my phone dinging all the time, but that's what that does.
And then I have 3 lines. You have an envelope up there. You have an envelope there?
Right there?
Yeah, I have 3. I don't have that. I have three dots.
That's how you can send a message to him. And if you click the 3 dots, it'll probably have a send message in there as well. So I mentioned you can send a message to anybody on Twitter. So if I wanted to send him a message, I could click here. And we're going to get to messaging later. But
I don't have that.
Click the 3 dots and see if it says message.
I did. No, it says turn off retweet, view topics, view list, view moments, share profile.
Okay. There's other ways to get there. So I'll show you other ways to message. Yep. Again, it's I wish iPhone and Android would get together and do things the same way, but they don't. And I don't have an Android, so I can't show both of them, unfortunately. Okay. All right. So one last thing, I'm trying to keep an eye on time here because we're good about. I'm gonna go back to. Well. Yep, let's go on to the next piece because that one I was going to be hard to find. Because I do want to talk about hashtags briefly because hashtags started on Twitter and it's a huge part of Twitter. And if you're not familiar with hashtags, even though Facebook and Instagram and other social media use hashtags now, and they work the same on all those social media, but hashtags are a way to pull together information about some topic. So in this case, if I was looking at hashtag Medicare, any post that's been made that has hashtag Medicare on it would be, I would find it in there. So let me, I'm going to look quickly. And okay, I'm not finding one. Instead of searching here, I'm going to do, there's a couple of ways you can get to hashtags. And one way is to search. So let's say I'm interested in Medicare. So I want to see what's being posted about Medicare. So I'm just going to search here. Maybe there's some big announcement about a change in Medicare. So I can just come up here and type hashtag Medicare. And so there's hashtag Medicare. And so what is showing up underneath here? I'm getting a little echo here. All right, I think it stopped. So these are all posts that have hashtag Medicare in them. So these aren't necessarily people I follow. They're probably not people I follow. but they all, when they posted something, they added this hashtag to their post, hashtag Medicare. So that's why they're showing up here. So by searching for this hashtag Medicare, it's a way to go through all of Twitter and see anything anybody anywhere is posted where they put hashtag Medicare as part of their post. Going back to my sports scenario, the night of the Super Bowl, there was a hashtag Super Bowl. And so if I came to this page, hashtag Super Bowl, I'd see all the posts about the Super Bowl, regardless who had posted it. So it's a way to find posts around some topic. When there's a hurricane, there's always a hashtag Hurricane Wade, where you can find all the posts about that hurricane. Does that make sense? That's what a hashtag is. So that's another way you can get information. Now here, you're not in your timeline. You're actually doing a search and finding that information up here. So there's several ways to find hashtags. One is what I just did here. I did a search to find it. I'm going to go back to my, so here, lots of times in the post, you can see a hashtag in the post. So for instance, Tracy English posted something about aging and put hashtag caregivers and hashtag your care matters. So if I was interested in one of those, I'm reading this post and I say, gosh, I wonder who else is talking about your care matters. I can just touch right there on my screen and it'll take me to, in this case, her account. I'm going to touch your care matters again, and it takes me to that hashtag. And now I can see all the posts of anybody that used your care matters. Maybe I'm in here. I want to go and look at hashtag health. I can touch there, go to hashtag health. So it's kind of like surfing the internet. You can surf from one hashtag to another from looking at the posts, the tweets. Questions? Okay. These are usually a little, hashtags are a little confusing if you're not used to them. All right, let's keep going. Got a couple more things I want to make sure I cover before we run out of time. Yeah, we're on good shape. I'm going to go back home again. And we're going to go back into our timeline and talk about the other thing we can do here. So, and if you're a Facebook person, this is very similar. So with each tweet, it has down here things you can do, how you can interact with that tweet. So I can reply. This is the reply icon. So if I wanted to reply, I can click there and write out a reply, just like Facebook. And then I type something in and then click reply. My reply would be added to the bottom of the tweet here. I can retweet it. We talked about retweeting. So if I wanted to retweet this, I just would touch this little retweet icon. And you can see 44 people have retweeted this. I'm going to click there. There's two types of retweet. One is just a straight retweet, which means it's just going to send it out to all my followers as it is. And there's a quote tweet. In that case, I can write something as part of what I'm sending out. Let me click this one first. This one may be a little more confusing. So I can type something here about it. This is a great article. Everyone should read this, whatever I want to say about it. And then it's going to retweet it with my comment. If I just retweet and just do a straight retweet, it's just going to automatically send it. It doesn't give me the chance to say anything. It's turned green, which tells me I've retweeted it. And you can like it. And like Facebook, you don't have a lot of choices. It's just a one icon there. It's a like or don't like. And then this is share. So if I want to share this with somebody, I can click here and I can send it to somebody via Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp. I can email it to someone. So I can basically send a link to someone with that item.
When do you click on that feather, that thing there, plus thing?
They're coming up there next. I think that's the next thing. Yep, let's go. That's how you tweet. I kind of say that for last because this is the easiest part, especially if you're using Facebook, Instagram, any of those other websites. This is how you tweet. It's like a little quill with a plus sign. So I'm going to click there and it opens a what's happening. This looks very much like Facebook if you're a Facebook person. So I can type something, whatever I want to type here. I can add a voice message. I can take a picture with my camera and and send that picture. I can pull something off of my camera. If I want to send a picture, I can just grab the picture off my camera, just like Facebook. If I want to
see that.
What's that?
I don't see that. It says everyone can reply.
Oh, that.
But I don't have any things like you have there.
You don't have these. Is there a triple dot?
No.
There should be a triple dot or some of these icons or a plus sign maybe.
No.
Or paperclip. If you don't.
No.
Okay. But does it have what's happening? Where you can type?
Yes, it has what's happening.
Okay. Yeah. Not sure, Nancy, what's going on there then. I haven't seen that one. And in Twitter, more often than not, you are you're responding verbally. Whereas Instagram and Facebook are much more visually oriented. You're sending lots of pictures and things. Lots of times you are just tweeting something. So I could just say something here. I'm just going to put something just to put something in here. So when I started typing, and then you can say if you type first, then maybe that'll open them up down here because as I started typing, I've now got, again, these things that I can add. And this is my photos. So if I want to add a photo there, it takes me into here where I can click the photo and say add. And so now it's put her picture in here along with this. What I do want to show you is the hashtag. So we talked about hashtags. So if I want to add a hashtag here, I can put hashtag and let's see if I'm sure there's a hashtag around dogs. Dogs of Twitter. So I can add this hashtag, Dogs of Twitter, and you can add more than one hashtag if you want to. So when you're done adding stuff, and again, you can only do 280 characters anyway, I'll tweet that. And so now there's my tweet. So I can see Elsa's going to the jungle. It has the picture. Here's my hashtag. People can like it, retweet it, love it, or reply, retweet, like. If I want to go see who else has posted Dogs of Twitter, I can touch that. And it takes me to Dogs of Twitter. And you can see other posts that were made to Dogs of Twitter. We are almost out of time. Questions about posting. Luckily, posting is fairly straightforward. But let me stop here and just take any questions that you have. Questions or comments? If not, I'll show you a couple other things here quickly that, again, like Facebook, there's a triple dot at the top. So if I click there, it takes me into things that I can do. And, oh, so this is an ad.
Where's the triple dot?
Let me go. It's right there, right at the top in the first line. It should be on the right.
Boy. It's hard to follow with this here phone.
I know it's a little different with the Android.
A lot different.
And again, these are kind of similar to in Facebook. You know, you can mute, you can block, you can unfollow. I'm not actually following this one, so oh, there it is, unfollow. Muting is like unfollowing, but they can't tell that you've muted them. If you unfollow somebody, they'll know that it doesn't send them a message, but they can look and see who their followers are. And if they don't see you, they know you're not following them anymore. If you mute them, it just tells Twitter not to put their posts on your timeline anymore, but there's no way they can know that you've muted them. So it's kind of a secret unfollow. And then blocking, again, is like Facebook. If you block them, you won't see their posts. They can't see your posts. They can't message you. It does that brick wall. So that's how you can control what's getting posted on your timeline. Okay, so we are 6 minutes from the top of the hour, and I think that was the last thing I was going to show you, and it is. So I do want to thank you for joining and attending the class. Hopefully you learned a little bit more about Twitter. It's a little different than Facebook and Instagram. And again, as I said at the top of the class, it's not using either or. It's just another one that you can follow. I use it mainly for late breaking news and events and things like that, but you can use it lots of other ways as well. Okay. So hopefully you're enjoying your experience on Get Set Up. And if you are, and you're posting anything on social media, be sure to tag us. Just say @GetSetUp. We're on all the different social media platforms, and that way we'll get notified about your post and we'll like your post as well. Some related classes, we have classes on the other apps. We have WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger are the other two primary ones, along with Twitter. Let me go to the closing slides and talk about what's going to happen after class, especially if you're not familiar with that process. So after class, you'll get an email that has some class notes in it. And there'll be some key takeaways, but then the class notes will also have links to some websites with additional information. Some of it is review of what we covered in class. Some of it's related material we didn't have time to cover in class. So take a look at those links. If you would like to recommend the class to someone else, you can do that by either posting a link on Facebook, or you can send a link via email, whichever way you're more comfortable with. There'll also be links to 3 other classes you might want to take. You can just click on the link in the email. It will take you straight to the registration page. There's a give feedback link that opens up our feedback form. Very quick to provide feedback. Rate the class 1 to 5 stars. Just click on the stars. Rate the guide 1 to 5 stars. Just click on the stars. Place for comments in each case. The comments aren't required, but they're greatly appreciated. And then just click done. We hope you're enjoying being part of the Get Set Up community. And if you are, there's ways you can become even more active if you would like. You can suggest or host an interest group. If you're interested in starting or participating in an interest group around Twitter, just let us know, help@getsetup.io. If there's a class you'd like to see us offer that we're not currently offering, or if you belong to an organization do you think would be a good partner for us, just let us know that as well. Same email address that you're using to request a copy of the recording. And then finally, there's a link that called View Schedule that will take you to our website where you can book another class. A couple of things I want to show you in case you haven't found them. The View My Complete Schedule link right in the center of the home page. If you click that, it'll take you to the classes you've booked. You can launch the class here when it's time for the class to start. If something comes up and you need to cancel a class, you can cancel from here. Just click cancel and enter why you needed to cancel, scheduling conflict, and you can cancel a class that you're booked for. If you know the class or the type of class you're looking for, the best way to find it is to search. So if you want to take that Facebook Messenger class, you can just type Messenger. And there's Facebook Messenger. That's the class about how Facebook Messenger works. Click that and it'll take you to the sign up page for that class. If you want to book the class, you can click book. There's one thing we've added to that recently. If you want to let someone else know that you're going to take that class and invite them to come to the same class you're going to be in, you can just click invite a friend. And you can either just put their email right there and click send, or you can copy the link and send it via your own email, post it to Facebook, post it to Twitter, wherever you want to post it. And then the last thing I want to mention is something that was added fairly recently. If there's a guide or guides that you like and you want to see what they're teaching in the next couple of weeks, just put their name in the search bar, hit enter, and it'll show you their classes chronologically going forward, starting with the one we're in today. This is my classes. So you can look and see what that person is going to be teaching and book a class from there. Okay. So we have 1 minute less than the hour, so I got you out on time to get to your next class. I do want to thank you for attending. Hope you enjoyed the class and hope to see you again in another class really soon. Thanks. Bye now. Bye, Nancy.
Bye, honey. Oh, boy. Very confusing with
Bye,
that.
Bye, Marcy.
Bye.
I'm going to have to get an Android, Nancy.
Yes, you have to. It was very, very different.
Yeah, I know it is. It's confusing. Sorry about that.
Very.
Okay.